World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
Hello, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be back in this space. I have gone now for the entire summer, pretty much. But it's as if I've never left. I am so excited, truly humbled, and honored to be able to host the Bold Show, to talk about and to share stories of great men and women who've taken on challenges in their lives and made the conscious decision to design the life they think they deserve. The Bold Show is also here to encourage, to impact, to motivate, and inspire you to become the best version of yourself. We're here to let you know that it is all possible. It's up to you. You have a choice. And I have this quote, like I am such a big quote. I picked this up today. With the new day comes new strength and new thoughts, by Eleanor Roosevelt. So tonight, without further ado, I want to introduce our guest. He goes by the name of Carl. Carl does not like to attach titles to himself. He doesn't feel comfortable with that. And I think that goes with the concept of not wanting to remain in a box. In that invisible box that society puts, as well as our friends and our families. Carl discovered, and he is here to share a story that's gonna make you say, wow. 2019, Carl weighed 238 pounds. Today, Carl is weighing 175 pounds. He's shed 63 pounds. It's here, and welcome to the Bold Show.
Hey, how you doing, Marie?
Thank
you for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you here. So, Carl, why don't you tell the viewers who you are?
Well, my name is Carl Maxinau. Originally, I was born in Haiti, but I moved to the States back in 2004, and basically, Connecticut has adopted me, and I love my new home here.
Awesome. Well, thank you, and we're happy to have you here with us, right? I am so moved As I reflect on the first time that I met you, it was over the summer.
Yes.
And when you showed, so I think before we get into the whole story, I'd like to show our viewers, because this is like real life, right? I'd really love to show the viewers what you looked like back in 2019. Yes, this is
Yeah.
Carl. This is Carl. So, Carl, looking at this picture, how does it make you feel right now? What's the first thing that went through your mind when this picture came up on screen?
It's more like I remember what it felt.
Got it.
Yeah. How can I say it? I wouldn't care. You couldn't pay me $1 million to put the weight back on.
Okay. Awesome.
Simply for
So,
the fact of how I feel.
got it.
The difference. It's a complete turnaround.
Okay. So, to you to share with our viewers what triggered you to make that change.
So it was one of those situations, right? You know how like big brother versus little brother talking trash? Uh I work as a barber, right? So at the shop where I work, we had this younger kid. He sits literally next to me. That's kind of like little bro, teaching him the ropes and everything. So in I think it was June, no, May of 2019. I think the subject of basketball had come up. And then you know how it goes. Guys, we're talking, and then like, man, there's no way in hell you can see me in the court, this, that, and the third. Next thing you know, we end up down the street on the court. Game started well. I did okay. And then towards the end of the game, it's like I ran out of gas. I literally ran out of gas. It's kind of like I knew what to do, it's just that my body wouldn't do it. Like I knew you were about to go up for this jump shot. I'm supposed to go up and try to contest it, just that my body would not do it. And then I lost. To make it worse, he had another one of our friends there recording the entire thing. So we're in the barbershop, right? Mind you, how was I? Like 31? I'm 31. He's 20, 21, about to be 22. So it's trash talking every single day about it. And then he went home and edited the video. And then he started showing it to his friends who walk into the shop. Everyone who walk into the shop has to see the video. And I am next to him. I got to hear all of it. It was kind of like, boy, beat my ego down. So I said, you know what? I know what happened. I lost because I couldn't play. So the very next day I went to the gym and jumped on the treadmill. A month later, I lost, I think it was 14 or 15 pounds. We went back on the court. It was a completely different story. And then I started to think, what else can I do with this? How far can I go with it? And then I really start to look into the journey, because it was like I felt so much better from the day when I played the game to how I felt then. I was like, you know what? Maybe I should carry on with this. And the next thing I know, it's I'm down another 5 pounds, another 3 pounds, and then you tone up a little bit. And then I really start to look into it, diet, and really how to exercise properly. And then we are where we are now.
Wow. Wow. So a basketball game like triggered. It had like this
Trash
down.
talking basketball games. Yup.
It's
And then
like
here we are.
where we are today. In that moment, after when you lost the first 14 pounds, like, right? What did you do to achieve that when you lost your first 14 pounds?
So the first thing I did was I started to look into how I was eating.
Got it.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with kind of like the barbering culture. if you're busy enough, it's like you're always on your feet. There is no time for you to like. It's all about whoever suggests the best option for food. That's what we're gonna go with, and then you do that over time, over time, over time. We had this result because I played football in high school. I was always pretty fit, 185, 190, and then I went up to 230. Oh, I was flirting with 240, like a pound or two under 240.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so we lost the 14 pounds and we you won the game, I'm assuming, correct? You won the game then.
The second game, yes.
Second game,
Oh
yeah.
man, you didn't stand a chance.
Okay. So I guess this is where we talk about. So initially when you lost, right, that was a bruise to your ego. And
Yes, it
then
was.
you you know, the spirit in you, and typical men, right? They love a competition, right? They don't think they should lose. So they will sit and they will study and they will figure out, how do I come back? What's my comeback? What's that going to look like? Because it's like it consumes you guys. Like, I
Yes, it
can't
does.
how, right? So you go through this phase of making a commitment to lose. And you talked about. So help me understand, how did you infuse this in the barber culture? Because you were still a barber, correct?
Yes, well, I still am. Uh, so in the midst of me trying to figure out how to actually lose the weight and keep it off of me, I started to learn about intermittent fasting to the point where I actually add that into my lifestyle. I fast every day for at least 12 to 14 hours. There are days that, depending on how I eat, like the day before after I broke my fast, I could fast for anywhere from 14 to 16 hours. And then I go again. And what happens is this: I found out that your stomach actually can shrink back to regular size if you stop expending it so much. And then everything came together. I haven't put on any more than 3, maybe 4 pounds in at least a year. I've been at that consistent, either once 175, I'll be at 172 or maybe 178, but I'm at that threshold.
Got it. This is like perfect. We're talking about the journey. And I think as you go along, challenges are going to come up, right? And but I think I'm curious. So you took on this journey all by yourself by basically just doing research, correct?
Yes.
Did
Yes.
you hire a health coach, fitness
Uh
coach?
not not per se. So one of my best friends, right? One of my childhood best friends,
Yeah.
he's a personal trainer,
Okay.
right? I would work out with him when he was down here, but I had that fuel in me. It was personal. I learned a lot from him, but he got to the point where I had built the discipline to like, I don't care what happens. I am going to go to the gym. I'm going to exercise. I don't care where we are. Everybody's having a feast for breakfast. I'm not going to partake. And it got to the point where it doesn't bother me anymore, where I got to understand why I eat, not just because this is available to me. That's what got me there to begin with.
Got it. Did eating for a nutritional value.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you just said that you had this fire in you and you had this quest, you kept pushing, you kept motivating yourself, like that self motivation, like right there. So I'm not sure what your family structure looks like or your living situation. What does that look like? What I'm trying to get at here, it's to like, like manage self, especially like around the holiday times, right? Like I'm even talking prior to now, like when we initially started on this journey. I think what I'm trying to get at, it's like, how did you overcome those challenges?
So it goes like this. If you implement that into your lifestyle and it becomes kind of like a part of you, the holidays don't really bother you because A, you are incapable of overeating after a while because your stomach will only expend but so much, right? And it's that, and you also know that what path you're on, what you're trying to accomplish, those things will stop you from doing a lot. There isn't any restrictions really as far as what I eat. I eat just about anything I want. It's just that I stay away from certain things because of X, Y, and Z. Not because my diet is not really strict by any means. It's more like intermittent fasting and exercising. Portion control really too. So
Absolutely. I love what you said. Like, listening to this conversation, it really was about one, it was about being disciplined. Two, it's about
yes,
being consistent, and you had that commitment.
yes,
So all of that together, it literally gave you the results that you actually want right now. I
absolutely.
think for me, I'm just like really curious to know, like, how are you inspiring others around you? Like, have you seen where others are now looking like, oh, model, and possibly asking you, can you train them or can you provide that support? Are you getting any of that?
Actually, yes, I do get a lot of those, especially coming from people who has known me for a long time because it got to the point where, okay, so during COVID, right, we didn't have access to the gym, so we couldn't work out. And I did a lot of changes. Not only I lost the majority of the weight then, but during COVID, I also grew out my hair. And when we got back to the gym, after the world kind of opened back up, I would walk by people and they would not know who I am. I would say hi to somebody and like, Carl? Like, yeah, like, oh, yo, you look so different. And then at first it was a little weird. Like, bro, I've known you for X, Y amount of Z. And then I start to realize, oh, it's not just him or him and him who are realizing that, like, okay, yeah. And even after I lost the weight, I felt like the transformation was going on a physical level, but psychologically, I don't think I was there yet because I feel like it took a while for my mind to actually,
Catch up to your body.
yeah, catch up to where my body was. And then, yeah, it definitely got interesting.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
I think probably it's time for us to show off this video with you, this quick video with you being in the gym. Like, again, just to like showcase to people that the journey continues.
Yes, it
You
does.
can do it, but you got to make that decision. If you can't come to the realization that you need something differently for yourself, I don't know what to tell you. So
If you're
kudos to
waiting on,
you.
I was gonna say, like, right? If you're waiting for somebody to motivate you, it's never gonna happen. Everyone has their own personal life to live. Everybody gonna have their own problem. They have their own bills, their own everything. Look, I feel like if you wanna, it doesn't matter what journey you wanna embark into. I feel like you gotta first understand the purpose of what you're doing and have a plan for it and actually go for it. Unless so, yeah, you might start, but keeping up with it could be somewhat, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, nobody really want to wake up at 5 in the morning and actually be in the gym when it's cold outside. Nobody want to do that. But once you discipline yourself enough and you understand why you're doing what you're doing, yeah,
And here discipline comes up, and understanding your why.
yes,
It is so important for you to do whatever it is that you're doing for yourself, not for anybody else. And I
no,
absolutely love what you say, if I hear you correctly, that no one is going to motivate you.
no,
Uh, and we talked about and pause, right? And the world was on lockdown.
yes,
how did you manage to keep up the momentum?
So during COVID, right? I found, I think it was two water jugs at my house. I filled them up with water. Nah, they were laundry detergent, so I filled them up with water. I run a towel in between them and combine them, and I would use a bar, and I used that for anything. That was all the weight that I had. Let me see. Well, I couldn't find any weight anywhere. Everybody bought everything out of the stores. Even if you had to order something, everything was back ordered, right? So I found those laundry detergent. I filled them up with water, run a towel in between them, and I would use them for everything. I have a couple of videos of them too. I don't think I had. Yeah, yeah, those. And then I did a ton of push-ups, and it worked. It's just that I don't care what it was. I was not gonna go a day without actually exercising, without doing something. I had a goal to be reached. So there's that.
You saying that just made me realize how we make excuses. We
We
lie
do.
to ourselves. We're often hypocritical to ourselves, right? Because we will say we want something, but then our actions is not congruent to what it is that we're thinking that we want.
You want to know something? As much as I agree, I feel like, you see, the so-called discipline, I feel like discipline is a muscle in itself.
Yeah.
And it's a muscle that has to be built. And then you can utilize it on different platforms. This is what I mean by that. No one can just walk into the gym and just bench 225 pounds. It's almost unrealistic unless you're a bigger person and you have natural strength. That's different. But the average person is not gonna be able to do it. However, if you start with 95, you start with 100, you will eventually get there. It's the same thing with discipline. You start doing something. Once you understand the why, you do it today. You know, I'm going to do it again tomorrow. I know it's going to be cold on Friday, but I'm still going to do it because that's what I have to do and this got to get done. Once you build that muscle, then you can apply to anything. Like, I understand that this project at work has to be done by X, Y, and Z. So, regardless of how I felt the day before, what I did, I'm gonna get on that and I'm gonna get it done.
I love that analogy. And it's so interesting that you actually say that, because like in my head I was thinking when you talked about the gym, and I have my own stories about transformation as well, and also developing a healthier relationship with food, because
Okay.
I my relationship with food was poor, right?
Poor or rich?
It was
You
poor.
was
My relationship was, oh, well, you know what? Like thinking about it, you're absolutely right. Corrected. Yeah, it was really rich. Like, right? I would just eat whatever. And I knew I needed help. So I hired a health coach because I had to like really understand. And
hmm.
again, this is about seeking knowledge, because
Yes.
I knew I was not comfortable with, and this was just like literally me going to take a shower and walk by the mirror. And when I looked at myself, I was like, oh, this is so not cute. And then I said to myself, okay, that's all right. We could fix this. But I knew I couldn't do it by myself. And going back to your analogy about discipline, it's actually a muscle and it takes practice. Let's just go with that. It takes practice,
Yes.
because I now had to, it was like a huge transformation. Because, like I said, the way I ate, and I think it's also with us Black folks and coming from the Caribbean, like
Oh yeah.
I would have like these, like ackee and the saltfish and the green bananas. And that's like breakfast, right? And you're having that meal at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then by midday, you're going in. And then, after, connecting with the health coach, he's like, what you're doing to your body, that's not
Mhm.
healthy. And we went through that. And it was just so, it was like, even my family, like they could not understand. Like now, fast forward to now, like every morning I have a piece of aloe vera. Like you would never tell me before that I would have that, right?
Mhm.
Because that was like, so the concept was so foreign. But now it's like a part of my routine, like how I know we got to get up and we have to take a shower, right? Because
Yeah.
we want to smell good. It's the same
Yes.
concept. Like my body, it means so much to me. So whatever it is that I have to do, and like when I say to folks, like we make so much excuses, and that's because we really don't want to do it. Because I don't go
Absolutely.
to the gym. I don't go to the gym. My gym is inside my house. When the weather is nice, I go utilize my backyard, and
Okay.
I do like a lot of cardio. So I run, but it's right here, whatever space I am. Sometimes I don't get to do it in the mornings. I don't get to do my workout. When I'm in the office, I bet you I'm there, like I'm doing my squats, whatever it is that I have to do. Because, like, when I tell people I do 300 squats a day, they look at me like, okay. And if I have time, I do more. But my benchmark, I need to get to 300 squats a day. So it's a part of my
Mhm.
lifestyle.
There you go. You set that discipline for yourself, and regardless of what happens, you're gonna reach that. The very least, you're gonna get those 300 in. That's exact. It's like anybody who takes this journey seriously gonna have to set a goal for themselves, and they're gonna have to like be their own kind of like warden to like you have to get this done. That's the only way to get to the next level to this. So yeah, and to follow up to what you said about nutrition, right? Uh, throughout my journey, I found out this: we are taught to eat wrong,
Yeah.
which is the reason why so many of us struggle with weight and being not being able to lose weight. It's just that we eat wrong. So think about this: you wake up one day and then you have breakfast, and let's say that it's a bacon, egg, and cheese, right? And then you drink something. So now your digestive system has to work to get rid of that. Come lunchtime, you eat something else. Maybe if you're from the Caribbean like us, you had some rice or something, right? Your body also has to work to get rid of that. And then you have a snack here. And then comes dinner. That's one day, right? And then you take this, you copy it and paste it to the next day. Then the next day, now it's a week of you doing that. Now it's a month of it. It's a year. Now it's 30 years of you eating like that. The human body can basically rebuild itself. It can stop just about any damage you do to it as long as it doesn't go overboard, and then it becomes like the point of no return, which is the reason why if we keep this pattern, by the time we turn 60, 65, our body will eventually start to give up, and we're going to have to rely on everything else just to stay alive, versus you can actually give your body time to digest the things that you eat. Like the morning time is the time when I don't, from my personal experiences, I would never eat in the morning anymore, at least not before 12. If I do it, it might be once or twice. Say that I go out, I go on vacation with my friends. That's one thing. I'm going to do it. However, I know that the second I come home, I'm back to my routine. There's no if, there's no but, and there's no maybe. And even with that, sometimes I try to get away because I grab some fruits or something and I'll drink some orange juice and I'll drink water. I'll be perfectly fine, not that I need to begin with. But however, and the topic of nutrition is like we start to destroy our body from an early age, and it's a combination of us not knowing really not to, what to do, and the things that are available for us to
Yeah.
eat. These combination is not, it's not a good combination. And once again, discipline is a muscle. If you're not disciplined to do this piece of steak looks amazing early in the morning, and then here we are. And next thing you know, 20 years later, you have a bunch of weight that you can't really get rid of.
And to add to that, right? You're talking about a bunch of weight, and we have the high cholesterol, we have the heart problems, we get the stroke. So,
Absolutely. The number one killer in this country is heart disease, or from one form or another. That basically come from the nutrition. The things that we eat will either make or break us.
exactly.
But again,
Go
now I'm
ahead.
listening.
You finished? You good?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, and I think like one of the thing that like really stood out for me when I got on this transformation, on this journey, I also like recognized that the reality that it is really expensive to eat healthy. I'm not lying, because you go into
No,
the
no.
store, you go, and I probably walk away with probably 8 items for $100,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So I also understand the psychological game around it as well. That's a game, I call it, right? Because I think it's like we're still so trapped, like we're mentally enslaved, right? And like you have to want to know and understand and realize what's healthy and what's working for you. Things that no longer serves us, we have to get rid of it. It's a lot of
Exactly.
unlearning that we have to do, that I had to do. I'll use I statements to get to this space in my life. And I remember saying to myself, wow, this is super expensive, how am I going to afford it? But then when I started thinking about it logically, right? So I will have to probably spend $100 to eat, right? And I'm thinking about the nutritional value and the benefits it's giving for me, right? So I suffered from chronic migraines, to
Mm.
the point where I had to like take injections. That's how bad my migraines was. I was like literally migraine. And I'm gonna be so honest, like once I changed my diet, I
All
have
that
not,
go away.
let me knock on my table right here. I have not used an injection. And this is like over 3 years.
Oh,
So upfront, right, I'm spending this, but then in the long run, look at what. So I don't have all that copay. You go to the doctor, you have all this copay, and you have to pay for your medication. So it's like paying upfront and then have the longevity of. Honestly, I prefer that. And talking about nutrition and like just exercising and maintaining that fitness, my days, like it's after 8 now, and I started my day like around 4:30ish, and I could go on because I feel so energized. I feel so alive. I can move. Like when you keep your body moving, like I feel like I'm an incredible, like I could do whatever. And not only is it about the physical aspect, it's also about my mentality and how I process everything.
let's go one step further.
Yes.
So, you see,
Mhm.
everything connect in a way. The the things that you eat will eventually make their way into your bloodstream,
Yes.
into your heart, into your brain, and everything else. So there's how it goes. Remember how I was telling you about the patterns in which of how we eat, how bad it is? Imagine you do this for 20 years, right? And our digestive system is about a mile long when you factor in your intestines, the bowel, and everything else, right? How sufficient do you think we can empty out our bowel, our digestive system, if we don't eat properly? That's the reason why sometimes you end up with hard stool, or somebody uses the bathroom and then everybody got to leave the perimeter and everything else. And naturally, we're not supposed to be like that. Stool is supposed to be like soft, like everything's supposed to go through you when your body's running, like, functioning properly, which means that your water intake is good and everything else is good. Your diet is good. Like somebody should be able to use the bathroom, and the person next door should not know what they did.
Exactly.
That's how it's supposed to be. However, these are not things that you will never know until you actually get to like learn this thing. So like when this stuff stays in your body for so long, for a week or two, what do you think happens over time? they make their ways into your body, into your bloodstreams. You end up with acne, you end up with obesity, all kind of blood disease, like heart disease, all of this stuff. You can't like all this stuff that's the inside of you. Imagine a piece of steak being a piece of steak inside of your trash can for 2 weeks in the house. What will happen after day 4? How would that smell like after week 1? All this stuff is inside of you because the things that you eat from the week before still has not been out.
Processed. Yeah.
All of that, yeah, all of that is bad for us. And it takes a
So
lot to learn. There's not something somebody gonna just teach you or any of that. Yeah. You got to take the initiative and actually go outside and fetch the information and actually apply it.
I love that what you just said just now. You have to take the initiative. And again,
Absolutely.
this is why we're here on the Bold Show and like really talking about how we create the lives that we want. And it's all possible. We may
Absolutely.
sit here and may think, like I'm really out there with social media. And like I get people asking me, so did you get your body done? Is this for real? And I'm like, folks have no idea how hard I work
Hmm.
because this is not easy. I'm going to tell people it is not easy. It is hard work. Do you think I want to get out of my bed sometimes at 4 when it's cold? I just want to put my head and just sleep. But the motivation I have,
See, every single morning, regardless of how I feel, I'm off. 5 o'clock, I'm in the gym.
love
There's no way around it, Marie. It's like you understand what the other side of this is. You've lived it before. You don't want to get back there.
yeah,
And it's kind of like it slows down the aging process as well. Once you change your diet, you change how you eat. It's kind of like you start to age backwards because as of right now, I got pulled over, right? And the police suggested I change my ID heavily. Like, this looks nothing like you. Like, yes, I can say this is you, but you really should suggest. Yeah, it's a hard suggestion. So it's like that. I would never want to go back there ever again. I remember what it looked like and what it felt like. And these are the things that sometimes I feel like you can't really have that conversation with everyone
yeah.
because it would sound like maybe you think you're doing something special. Like, yo, you have no idea what it actually takes to actually do and then maintain.
Yes.
And then you got to maintain it. So, yeah.
Um, and to our viewers, we want you to know that it doesn't matter what your past looks like. That's really irrelevant. And your past is so necessary because our past informs our decisions today. Because just like you kept saying, Carl, you never want to go back to that old self. So literally, we kill ourselves
Oh, yeah.
so that we could continue on this journey, and the journey continues. So,
Absolutely.
Carl, thank you so much for being so open and for being so candid. And I'm really hoping that others will be inspired and will be motivated. So, my question for you, would you be willing to train someone? Did you ever think about?
I have. I mean, I trained 2 people who actually take it seriously. So one of them, right? He's been around me for a very long time. Is somewhat younger, is about 26, 27. He's been around me and I know his family and stuff like that, but he suffers from medical condition, epileptic seizures,
Okay.
right? And that has been kind of like his elephant in the room because the last seizure that he was basically paralyzed from the right side, about 70% paralyzed. If you see him today, it's been about, so we started working out in June. If you see him today, he looks like a completely different person. You would never be able to guess. This kid would stop working out with him in the middle of the gym. He'll hug me. It's like, yo, bro, I love you. Thank you
Wow.
for everything. Because that changed his life. I stopped all of his bad habits. So now he's going back to the doctor. His condition is improving drastically to the point like he has so much mobility in his right side. It was his arm and the leg. So much mobility that his doctors looking at like we don't understand what's going on with you. Like, yeah, it's the what you eat, what you do with your body can determine how long you last.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
and then
That's
another one is my boy. He's in his 50s, and this man can bust 70 push-ups with no problem. And I'm talking about good. This Marine would agree with these push-ups.
wow.
So yeah, method actually he works.
That's just astounding. And and again, this just like goes back to what we've been talking about here. It's that your why. You got to go back to your why, understand why you get up every day. I love to say when we wake up in the morning, that means that God, He did not give up on us, right?
No,
So what are we going to do with our 20? Because everyone has 24 hours in a day.
that's for
Bill
sure.
Gates, Oprah, every one of them, they have 24 hours in their day. But again, it's about them being strategic every minute, every second, every hour, because they have that hunger. You got to be hungry. Whatever it is, I will say this: if you're not hungry enough, then you're not going to eat. It's just like the
Mhm.
body. Like when you have that craving and when that hunger sets in, that physical hunger, you got to nurture the body. So it's the same concept as if there is something that you want in life, you can achieve it. I really believe that. But you also have to believe that you can do this. And this is how I came up with my 3 C's. It's like you got to have clarity, you got to be
Mhm.
committed, and then you got to be consistent.
Yes.
The
Yes.
C's: clarity, commitment, and consistency. I say this all the time. Like we see these basketball players, and we're like, oh my God, when we see them on the basketball court and they're like winning, and we sit on the sidelines and we cheer them. That did not happen overnight. You don't see them when they're hurting and when they're working so hard and they're making sacrifices. And we get to sit in that ice bath or the sacrifices. We just see the outcome. And I think this is like a perfect segue for us to show off the new version of Carl. I'm ready for this, and I hope our viewers are also ready for this. But the moral of this story tonight is that you can have this transformation too. It's not limited to Carl, it's not limited to Marie, it's us, but it's up here.
Yes, it
Change
is.
your mind and you change your life.
Yep. 100%.
Carl,
100%.
where do you see yourself 3 months from today? I like to take baby steps.
3 months from today, uh, I don't necessarily know where I will be 3 months from today. However, the one thing I can promise you is this: nothing that I'm currently doing will be changed. If they do, it will be for the better. That's a fact. Uh, yeah, I don't really set a path for myself. It's kind of like you wake up and you do what you have to do, and then see how life goes. I don't look forward to things or any of that. It's just that one thing I know for a fact is I can control the now. I can control what I do in the next 5 minutes, and that's that.
Okay, love it, love it, love it. So, Carl, we not share with our viewers like how we really met, right? Like we danced around it, right? And I think this is like the fun part for me, right? So Carl here, I met Carl over the summer at a model casting call for the Yonkers Fashion Week.
Yes.
And we just got to talking because he has this aura about him and this humility and respect. And we just got talking. So Carl, talk to me about modeling and how did you get into it? And where do you want to take this?
So modeling, right? Modeling was one of those things. It was more so like a joke in the shop, in a way.
I'm beginning to like that barbershop. I'm really beginning to like that barbershop.
You would love it. Oh my God. Check this out, right?
A lot
The
of
barbershop
positive.
is kind of like, yes, a lot.
Yeah.
So we all kind of like, well, not kind of, we all like this in the shop. So the things that might fly out at any given day is unscripted. No one can plan for the barbershop. It's just kind of like one of those things like, you had to be here type of thing, right? So after I started to lose the weight, and you lose the weight, now your clothes start to look a little different on you and stuff like that. And they would always talk trash, like, you think you're a model or something? Like, maybe I do. And then I got a casting call at Apex Studio in New York. I got a casting call at Apex Studio, and I got there, and then I kind of like was vibing with everyone. It was a cool environment from the makeup team and everything else. It was cool. I had a photo shoot. That turned out well. And then after the photo shoot, I started to kind of like read people's body language. Like, I don't know. And then I started doing more. I eventually got my portfolio done. So the person who did my portfolio, no, I would try to look for jobs, but not really for the money or anything. It was kind of like, I want to learn how to do this. So every photo shoot, it would become a kind of like an opportunity to say, you know what, I like this and I didn't like that. So I know what to change for the next photo shoot. And eventually Yonkers Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, and then now we are modeling.
And look at that body, right? Coming from 208 pounds, like we gotta celebrate you. We gotta sit in this moment right now. And we want our viewers to like really understand the power of our why and understanding what's important to us. Like that we wake up every single day. Why are we waking up? What's the plan? When our alarms go off, like I don't have an alarm. I think I have an internal alarm that like literally just wakes me up. I get excited. Like when I wake up and I'm like, yes, like my arm works. I can smile. I can see. Like, like this is serious for me. Before I got started in 2017, I think that was like another humbling and defining moment in my life. I realized how the things I took for granted, being able to get up and take a shower on my own, I took that for granted for several years. Being able to lift my arm without pain, I took that for granted. Having to depend on everyone else around me to take care of living skills, like I recognized that it was a humbling moment for me because I needed this. God had to humble me and make me realize that we should never be so nonchalant about opening up our eyes or just going and taking a shower on our own. So I get super excited. Like to see if my arm works, like it goes up and it's no pain today. But I have a purpose. So when I hop out of that bed, I already know what my day is going to look like.
Hmm.
So I want to seize the day and I want to seize every moment. Because if I don't start my day by at least 5, I'm in for a rude awakening because it's going to mess up the flow of my day.
Hmm.
Because
Oh.
I have a full-time job at 9 o'clock, and if I don't get my act together, then my personal job and my personal, you know, aspirations, it's going to get pushed back. So until I
Yes.
can make my personal, my passion, whatever my passion is, until I'm making enough money, like financial gains to be able to take care of myself, then I have to juggle both. I have to balance that work-life balance. So again, Carl, like we're really coming to the end of this, and like I had so much more I wanted to ask you, but I like go with the moment conversation. And this was really enriching. This was informative. But I want you to tell me, what would you say your, it's a two-part question.
Hmm.
So the first one is, what would you say has been your most teachable moment, and what do you think that you have accomplished? What's your biggest accomplishment? Your biggest challenge and your accomplishment.
So the biggest challenge had to be, I want to say, losing the weight was a big challenge. And then when I started doing it, well, as of lately, I went, I went through something right before COVID that kind of like helped shape my focus and everything else. There was this business that I was doing, a restaurant, and we suffered a major loss. Me and my partners, we suffered a major loss from that. And it was around the same time when I was going to transition as well. So all of those, but uh yeah, this has been the worst so far, the most challenging so far. And then comes the weight.
Got it. Got it. How do you want to be remembered when you depart this earth?
Mm, uh, what can I say? It's a couple of things. Uh, Kind, genuine, go getter, knows never an option.
Got it.
And I believe that there isn't anything that's not achievable as long as you understand that you're gonna have to plan for it and work for it, whatever it is. That's
Awesome.
about it.
What words of wisdom or added inspiration, because you've dropped so many gems along the way, would you like to leave with our viewers tonight?
If something's in your mind for a long time, you might have to pursue it to reason why it's there. And there are some things when you're gonna do, you can't talk about them, regardless if it was little Jake who grew up with you since you were 3 years old. This dream is not in little Jake's head; it's in yours. Sometimes you gotta find a way to understand it and don't speak of it unless you are around like-minded people, because people will project their fears onto you to the point where you will feel like, if I even try this, I will fail. And you got to stay away from that, because I read this quote that says that doubt kills more dreams than failure ever could.
Yes.
There is no such thing as failure. You just figure out one way something didn't work. If you really want it, you'll figure out another way. There's another person with the answer. Somebody wrote it somewhere. There's somebody who did it who would more than willing to speak to you about it. So find like-minded people to share your dreams with. Unless so, don't speak about them, because somebody's outside influence. Then here's the thing: sometimes it'd be like the person you quote unquote respect their views and whatnot. and then they might kill your dream because they couldn't see how you did. But out of respect, I'm gonna think they're right and not pursue your dreams. That right there is something you should stay away from.
I love it. I love it. Never show a blind man your vision.
No,
And we also have to understand those visions and those gifts, it was appointed to you, not to me, not to Matt. It was appointed to you. So no one is going to understand it but you.
absolutely.
There
Agree
is,
with that 100%.
and there is no such thing as fair. There is no such thing as failure. Like the older me, the matured me, I understand it's not failure. It's just a lesson.
I just know what didn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
I just know what didn't work.
So, Carl, I want to say thank you so much for sharing your energy with us tonight.
No problem. I got a whole lot of it, so it's all good.
Yeah, for the story. And as we close out, I just want to remind folks that if you're disciplined, as per Carl, if you understand your why and you're dedicated and you're committed, it's all possible. We're a young man in 2019 that weighed 238 pounds. And today, 2022, he's weighing 175 pounds. And all of this transformation happened during the height of a pandemic. What's your excuse? You have none. You too can create the life that you want. And a story that you want to share, feel free to reach out to Soul City and let us know so that we could have you on the Bold Show. And like I always like to end my show, and I'm going to start a trend tonight. I am awesome, you're awesome, and we are awesome. Have the most amazing rest of your week. Yes. Good night, everyone. See you all soon.
Good night.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.